next part we are going to talk about in the Creative Studio is the color correction. So there is also another editing part of the Appmint Creative Studio that you can use, which is the color correction. So color correction depends on, let's say you want to add saturation, you want to add contrast, you want to add colors to your picture. So to do that, all you have to do is to click on this, and there is an arrow that is here by the right side. So all you have to do is to click on the arrow to open it, then click on the image that you want to edit. So let me click on the image that you want to edit, then click on this. So you have three options here. You have the text, you have the shape, and you have the image. So click on the image, which means you want to access the image properties from here. So now if you want to, let's say you want to all right, so now the color correction part is where you can also add something to your picture. Let's say you want to colorize your picture. In this case, I'm going to start first with the brightness. So all you have to do is to click on the image first. So when you click on the image that you want to adjust the color, so let me move this here so that I can see this. So then you are going to click on the, if you want to apply grayscale, all you have to do is to click on the grayscale. So you can see it's changed the picture from the colored to grayscale. And so let's say I want to increase the brightness of this one. I'm going to click on the picture first, then click on brightness, and then you can see presently, because it's at 0, that's why it's showing black. So if you want to increase the brightness, all you have to do is to increase it, and then you should have so let me make it 0.01. So you can see now, let's make it 0.027. Oh, sorry. The reason why it's not showing the color is because I also have the grayscale turned on. So I'm going to turn off the grayscale here. And so let me make this as it is. So you can see now we are having a perfect color. Aha. So now you can increase the brightness or reduce the brightness based on what you want. So the other part that we're also going to talking about is the contrast part. So we also have the contrast part. So when you click on the contrast, so because it's presently set at 0, that's why it's showing black. So if I should increase this, so you can see it's so depending on how you want your contrast to be. So whether you want to reduce it or you want to increase it. So the color correction actually allows you to edit your pictures based on how you want it to be. So that the next part of the color correction we are going to be looking at is the saturation part of it. So now that's how the contrast and the brightness actually works. So the next part that we're going to talk about, of course, we won't be able to touch all of the settings that is in the color correction, and you are free to actually play around with while you are on your own. So the next part I'm going to talk about is let me remove the ruler from here. The ruler, so that we can be able to see what we are working on as it's distorting the color correction settings. So I'm going to remove the ruler. Yes. So now the next color correction that we are going to talk about is the saturation. So to see the saturation, all you have to do is to click on this. So for the saturation, so let's say I want to use the same picture. I'm just going to click on this, and then you can see it, and I can increase the saturation based on how I want it to be or not. So this is deeper, and this is minus. This is going to remove it, and this is deeper. I think I prefer the deep saturation. It makes the picture actually looks awesome. So that's that on editing your picture with color correction and the cropping part. So the next part that we're going to talk about is actually the an important part of when you are creating graphics, which is the text part. So let's say you want to add text to your flyer. So I'm going to drag this image to the right side there, and then have this side there. So now let's say you want to add text to your graphics. So all you have to do is to click on the text part, and when you click on the text part, you have 4 options. So each of these 4 options actually have different sides. So you have the title text. So this title text works for the test that you want to make, something like an heading test. So something like a title you want it to stand out. Then you have the subheading test, which is something like a subheading under the title test. Then you also have the paragraph test. So depending on the type of test that you want, this that should be the options that you should choose. So in this case, I'm going to click on the title test, and immediately I click on it, a test is going to appear here. So I'm going to minimize this tab, and then this is the test that I want to use. So I can write anything here. So I can give it something like Appmint Creative Studio tutorial series. So now I have my test here, and I can drag this test to stay at the side there. So when I click on this, and the beautiful thing about it is that you can also customize your test. So in this case, let's say you want to customize the font or the color or the size and etc. for your test. All you have to do is to maximize the tab that is there. Remember, just like we did for the image editing here. So all you have to do is, since I want to edit test, so I'm going to click on the test that I want to edit and then click on test. So when I click on test, here is where you can select the fonts that you want to use. So you have different options of fonts that you can actually do here. You have the Comic Sans MS Cursive, you have Lucida Console, you have MS Serif, you have Lucida Sans Unicode, you have Palatino Linotype, you have Cardinal Area, and the likes. So in this case, so let's say I want to choose Comic Sans. So I'm going to click on this, and then you can see that it's changed the font family of the picture that I'm going to use. So let's say I want to make it bolder. So I can click on this bold size, and it's going to make it bold. So depending on the alignment, you can either align your text to the left, to the middle, or you can decide not to give it any alignment. So this is for the font size. So depending the size that you want to give your font. So let me give it something like maybe 60. And if 60 is too much, I can give it something like 30. And then that's for I think 40, 35 should be okay. 35, yes, 35 is okay. So you can also make it italic, so depending on the one that you actually want. So there are different options. So, and the option that another option that I wanted to mention is the color part. So if you want to color, you can select this and you can drag based on the color that you want to add. So if you also know the color code, you can also enter the color code from here. So that's for the font part. So the next part that we are going to talk about for in the Appmint Creative Studio is the shapes part. So when it comes to shapes, so let me minimize this settings part. So when it comes to shapes, if you want to access all of the shapes that is available, so if you want to access all of the shapes that is available from the Appmint Creative Studio, all you have to do is to click on the shapes part. Then you have access to different shapes that you want to use. So I'm just going to click on these shapes, this star shape that is there, and then you drag it, you click on it, and then when you click on it, it's going to appear right there. So let me click on shapes again to maximize it. So now I have the star shapes here, so I can drag it here and resize as based on how I want it to be, so I can resize it here. So now let's say you want to customize your shapes. Maybe you find the strokes to be bolder and you want to make it thinner, or you want to make it bolder, or maybe perhaps you even want to add color to your shapes. So all you have to do is to click on the shapes and then maximize the tabs that is there, and here click on the icon that is at the middle here. So when you click on the icon that is middle here, you have access to your shape setting. So here you have the strokes, which is presently at 8. That is why it is a little bit thicker. And if you want to make it more thicker, you can increase it. So you can see how it so you see how it is. Then if you want to make it thinner, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, 3.86. So now you also have this stroke color, so you can actually make this to click on this. So let's say I want to give it something like this. So this is the color that I want to give it. So based on, and you can also actually based on how you want it to rotate, you can also use this to rotate your shapes. So I can make it like this, and there are a lot of options for you to actually use for your shape. So let me minimize it, and when you are done creating all of what you want to use for your the graphics that you're trying to create, and when you're done with it and you want to save, all you have to do is to click on the option that is there. So you can either save as SVG or you save as PNG. In the case of if you want to use an icon on your website, the SVG, you can, let's say you want to adjust, you want to use the star as an icon, you can have only the star and then save as SVG. So you can also click and save as PNG. In this case, for my graphics, I can make it as PNG. I can also save as JPG as well. So let me make it PNG. So, and when I'm done, the next part that you want to do before you save or export is to rename your file. So I'm going to click on the rename file and I'm going to give it Appmint Flyer. So let me just give it Appmint Flyer. So when you are done, you have three options as well. You can either download the PNG immediately, that is, it's going to download to your computer, or you can save to cloud, that is the cloud part whereby you have all your file manager. You can also save at it. So I'm going to click on download to download picture, and now I have the picture that is there. And you can also save to cloud as well, whereby it's going to save the graphics that you just say that you just work on. Is going to save it to the cloud as well. So now let me open the picture that I just edited. So I'm going to open the picture right now, and you see how it actually looks like. So beautiful. So this is the picture that we have been working on. So that's all you need to know about the Appmint Creative Studio. And like I earlier mentioned, the options or the editing options are actually limitless. And this is just a sneak peek of what is in for the Creative Studio for you. And finally, if you want to save the picture, the work that you have been doing so far, maybe you want to be able to go back to it, all you have to do is to click on the Save Fabric JSON here. And when you click on Save Fabric JSON here, when you see Save, that means all your files are the editing that you have been doing. So now you have it, you'll be able to have it in the Creative Studio here. That is, you can be able to edit later. So the learning activities for you is to upload any image of your choice. You can upload your preferred image or choose for the stock library, and then apply cropping to the image. Then you also use color correction, and then you can save to the file and save to the cloud as JPG or PNG, and also download a copy on your computer. That's to demonstrate and to enable you to learn how to use the Creative Studio. So that was all for now on the Creative Studio for Appmint.